Yeah, so Equinox opened up across the street. Imagine you're a local gym owner in Santa Monica and your biggest competitor ever is opening up across the street. Like, what do you do? If we were the exact same offering, we would be screwed.
This is Cody. Back in 2016, he and his college football teammate from USC quit their jobs and opened a strength training gym in Southern California. Fast forward to today, they've got multiple locations on both coasts, including one that's ultra competitive in Santa Monica, where an Equinox opened literally just next door.
The people in the comments were like, it's Globo Gym, it's the plot of dodgeball in real life.
The good guys win at the end of that one.
Yeah, and hopefully that narrative repeats itself this way too.
That's exactly like what we talk about with loop marketing. It's all the stuff I think we can help workshop here today.
This is Fix Your Funnel, a show where we help real brands at key stages in their growth using HubSpot's Loop Marketing Playbook. So what is loop marketing? Loop marketing is a new way to grow, powered by humans and AI working together. There are 4 stages to the loop. Express your unique story and point of view, tailor your messaging to your customers' needs, amplify across channels to meet buyers where they are, and evolve your content and strategy in real time. It loops, it learns, and it gets sharper every time you run it. We've got an entire library of loop marketing prompts you can use for your own marketing goals. Follow this playbook to fuel growth you may not even have thought was possible, using a framework that works for any business. Check them out at the link in the description. Now let's head over to Santa Monica to hop into Allegiate's marketing and figure out which stage of the loop marketing playbook we want to go deep on.
Oren!
What's going on, man?
Welcome.
All right, I'm here. I'm ready to get a workout in, get Hollywood ready. This place looks great. Looks maxing central.
100%.
Knowing you're in this competitive environment, what's kind of that real value proposition that's helping you stand out?
The joke I always say is I've tried more things that haven't worked than things that have, but I'm just like constantly trying to figure out like what is it in people's head that makes this click? How can we use messaging, particularly on like paid social and meta, to kind of unlock that, oh wow, this place is for me, find more of those people that are out there and not have to win like 100 members, but have to win like 15.
Perfect. I'm super excited to dive in there today, go through some of the loop marketing.
But first, and very importantly, we have to get some bicep curls.
If you see me off cam, this is just what I'm doing at all times anyway.
All right, we're ready to go.
Allegiate is an awesome gym. There's a lot of potential members to be had if he looks at marketing the right way. In Cody's case, because he's got some serious competition right next door, and he's on the hunt for new customers in all locations, I want to focus on the Express stage with him. Express is about defining your story, identifying what makes you, you. Understanding who he's really trying to reach will make everything that we do sharper. And in this case, Cody definitely needs to stand apart from the competition.
I'm gonna take you to my office. I've got stuff all over the walls.
All right, so I see this picture on the wall I have to ask you about. It says, join our cult crossed out community. There is a man in white robes, I believe, a drum surrounded by your acolytes.
It's one of my proudest moments as a marketer. We had a giant taiko drum and it's in the middle of the gym. I fogged out the whole gym so nobody knew what was going on.
This is inspiring, at least because, you know, when you look at how do we make a difference, it all starts with the consumer issue. Like, what are they trying to solve?
Before you can run the loop effectively, there are a few foundational things you need to put in place. First, we need to nail down his ideal customer profile. Identify who he's actually talking to and what they want. AI can actually help here. You can mine reviews, call notes, comments, and community chatter, and engagement and CRM data to build an even more detailed picture of his consumer.
What do you think your customer wants? Like, let's start there.
One selling proposition is like, I don't want to think anymore. Like, I want to go somewhere and just be told what to do. This idea of injury prevention, of I want to strength train, but I don't know what to do and I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, I feel that. That's what I think about as my aging body breaks down. I think about that all the time.
For sure. Weight loss is often a challenge that we hear a lot about. Getting stronger and wanting to strength train. This is a place where you're around a bunch of other people that like really take it seriously and that want to like train and get something out of it. It's like everybody's here for a purpose and a reason.
Now Cody can take what we discussed and distill it into a style guide. Define why Allegiate is actually different, valuable, and cooler than the competition. Distill that into something simple and shareable. Mission, tone, what to say, and what not to say. That's the taste piece.
We'll pop into some of these loop marketing prompts just to get some ideas and get some workflow in there. So the first one we have is a value proposition optimizer.
One of the Express prompts I suggested was the value proposition optimizer. You feed it your customer insights and competitive positioning, and it helps you articulate what makes you the obvious choice. Just copy the prompt, fill in the sections for your business, and throw it into any LLM. That's it. You've got a sharper way to talk about what makes your business stand out. The other prompt I suggested was the brand differentiation analyzer. This one's about understanding where you actually stand versus your competition. Not just in your head, but based on data.
We talked about dodgeball earlier, right? Where it's like, all right, we are competing against Globo Gym. How do you describe what you're doing different than the Globo Gym?
One thing that we do that a lot of other places don't really do, you come in for a consultation where it's a vibe check for you to get feel for the gym, but we're also doing a bunch of series of assessments to see how do you move, what's your injury history, that kind of thing. And then based on that, we can be able to sort of build that program or steer you into the program that would be best for you.
For a gym competing against a national chain, that kind of clarity is huge. It helps you stop guessing about your advantages and start building campaigns around them.
You're running your ads through Meta. What are kind of the biggest challenges? Landing pages, ads, messaging. What are you kind of dealing with right now that we can work through?
It's really the whole ecosystem of paid acquisition. What I'm looking for is like, are these ads generating qualified leads?
Cody mentioned he's struggling to understand what his target audience wants and how to use his ideas to craft specific ads. And here's the thing, Cody already has content that's getting clicks, but not enough people are engaging with it through to sale. To me, that says he needs to understand his customer better, retool his style guide, nail his value proposition so it's clear, concise, distinctly Allegiate, and get multiple variations he can test to see what actually works. All of this will result in more engaging ads that convert into leads and then into members.
So now I actually want to get a walkthrough of what you're doing for landing pages in the funnel. What does it look like now?
I'm trying to use this landing page to be like my qualifier.
Cody tells me his problem is creating ads that convert into qualified leads. He thinks the issue is his landing pages. It's not properly funneling people to the assessment quiz.
My thought here is I can get them in here and I can start clicking what are the reasons that they can't lose weight? Like what are the problems that they've had in the past?
Which is where he collects the info he needs to book a consultation call and craft a personalized fitness plan.
People are landing on the page, but I could see the drop-offs in the conversions at each of the different stages. And so my assumption was that, hey, the landing page isn't good enough.
But here's what I actually think is going on.
Why do they want to do it? Giving people a reason that they should take the quiz?
What Cody needs is to fine-tune his customer profile and unique story so he can target the ads to the right audience and actually put the right messages on the landing page for people that care in the first place. We nail that, he's going to get the leads he needs.
Is the messaging of just the program itself work, or is the messaging of like someone's story work? Go back to that photo over there where everyone is around the guy doing the performance and you're like, oh, this feels like a community I want to be a part of. Okay, let's lead with a community-based image, testimonial, achieving your goals with a group of like people that have that same shared purpose is probably the right angle.
I think that's a good idea.
We talked through his customer base, the types of people that connect with the gym, and found who Cody's really trying to reach. When you know exactly who you're talking to, their goals, their challenges, what makes them tick, everything downstream gets better. Your ads get sharper, your messaging gets tighter, and you stop wasting spend on people that were never going to convert. Now that we've scratched the surface on Allegiate's ideal consumer and worked through some of his style guide, I really want to talk through his ad creative and come up with some new concepts. This is another focus of Express. This should help jumpstart Cody's thinking and how he wants to change his existing ads. He's handling all this content on his own, so efficiency matters. We're going to generate some campaign concepts, claim his corner of the market with creative ideas inspired by that style guide and value proposition that will tell buyers why to pick Allegiate. The goal is to help Cody fix his funnel from the ads to the landing pages to what gets said on the call and convert these leads into memberships. Before we jump in, do yourself a favor and check out the link below. For every stage of loop marketing, there's a complete prompt library. You can enter your own business info in to get strategy, ideas, and real tactics to help you at any stage of your growth.
Fun as landing pages are, I love to talk about some ads.
I've got some data here. I have basically 474 visits. I only had 15% of the people actually start my quiz. The conversion's low on this overall landing page at like 1%. So if I had like a 3, 5, 10, that would make a significant lift on the business.
When we're going to talk about ads, I want to talk about three things. We have the actual messages themselves, like what are the key things that we could say. We have the actual concepts. So what do we want to do in the ad? Like what are the angles that we want to put there? And then we have the actual hooks. What visually or what are we going to do from just an attention grabbing standpoint to get them to stand out?
This is exactly why Express matters. Now that Cody has a sharper customer profile and a clearer style guide, he can create ads that speak directly to his ideal customer with one focused message and a clear path to the landing page. We want to get the right message to the right person so they can take the next step in the funnel.
Going into messages, we've talked about a few, but one you've mentioned is people that want to think.
Yeah, like a big selling proposition for busy people is I can turn off my decision making. Like everything's taken care of for me.
Do you need to educate people on why they need strength training, or do you think they already know and you just need to identify that you're like a strength training place?
We can kind of lean into that angle of like, I'm a beginner that wants to strength train, but I'm completely intimidated by figuring this out. The ones that have actually been working was sort of this angle of like, injury prevention. So going and picking a place to do strength training, it shouldn't feel like roulette. There can be a system that makes this more comfortable. A lot of our personal training clients had previous injuries and surgeries, and they do not want to go back to that place.
Let's roll through concepts we have. So basically there is this idea of a checklist in the ad. You show them that there's a plan that's simple enough that they can execute.
These are like kind of different call out ones here. So like I don't have to think about what to do, and it's this idea of like from this to this, trying to kind of show that like transformation that comes in here within the system of having like a qualified place.
Just sketching some of this out. It's a split screen ad in 9x16 where basically you write out or have an icon for each of those, but then the other half like shows the result. So basically they walk through the pain, then they see the result. I love that format. I think it could work. I also want to test more split screen this way too. That's a different type of split.
It's like meme, but it just communicates it like so fast.
Here's what I noticed about his ads. They were trying to do too much or too little. Either too many messages and concepts crammed into one ad, or not enough differentiation to tell why Allegiate's special. When a viewer doesn't get hooked and immediately understand what you're offering and why it matters to them, they scroll right past.
All right, so we've got our messages list, we've got our concepts list. Now I want to get into hooks. Hooks is the fun part, because when you look inside your meta, there's going to be what clicks do we get, what leads do we get, but it's all going to eventually come back to hook rate, like what people stopped on, what can we do to stop the scroll? Testimonial ads and like getting those in one static image to get across multiple themes. Some people will just put the actual testimonial, when in reality, we need to tie it to one of these messages. The other one I want to bring in that I think we talked about with the landing page is the community aspect, or like the cult aspect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's lead with a community-based image. I actually think there's a big component to that I think a lot of people want. Again, I know you're looking for creative where you don't have to spend a ton of time creating it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a like aesthetic angle.
100%.
You had made a organic viral video about strength training in Nebraska,
Yeah.
right? It ties into some of the things we talked about here, just that kind of retro feel. Maybe there's like a nostalgia aesthetic play to like hook.
And you can kind of tie it back to like timeless strength training, you know, like,
Exactly.
hey, these movements have been around since the eons and beginning of time, and they're still around because they work.
Yeah, I would hook that exact same way. Like having a 1980 Nebraska 8 room, here's why, and now I can give that to you. I think that's right for a split this or that, where it's like what it was back then, and then you're showing the gym now. Same principles, modern day. Let's kind of use that 2 image to do it.
Of the creative that I've tested thus far, the injury prevention angle has performed solidly.
So it has that as the headline, and then it has a testimonial, the face, and then there is a pic of the gym, even if it's at the bottom or like fading into the top or whatever. I think that works well.
Okay.
Basically, it's just going to be like, you're going to talk about the testimonials for the community. I do want to do the checklist static, and that's another no decisions one. You're basically giving them the checklist that you're taking care of for them. What image really sells that? So I think that's probably somebody working with a trainer.
And when you think of a CTA on something like this, is it...
Without a clear CTA, potential leads don't know where to go or why they should take the next step.
I think that's where you have to tie the quiz to the ad. Take the quiz and we'll help build you a custom plan.
That's so much better.
I'm super excited to get some of these concepts in the ad account. You ready to do it?
Cody and I just tackled the final step in Express, generating campaign concepts. We brainstormed and conceptualized a ton of ideas in person, and now Cody's going to take those and use the Express prompts from the Loop library to get content options and refine them further. Here's a quick example of what Cody will do now with all the information we discussed. Using the content theme generator from the Loop prompt library, Cody can plug in everything we've worked on. His customer profile, his style guide notes, his competitive angle, and generate content themes to keep his messaging consistent across all campaigns and give him new things to test. And that's the compound effect. Once you have the foundations of Express dialed in, everything you create going forward builds on itself. Now that I've walked all this through with Cody, I'm hoping he takes what we discussed, combines it with his data, and plugs it all into the Loop marketing framework, and then into his actual marketing. When we touch base next, I'll find out what he's improved, and hopefully we'll see some great results.
All right, Cody, how's it going?
What's up, man? Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I know it's been about a month since we were workshopping. A lot of ideas flying around. How's it going?
Man, we got real results. We made some sales. The creative really worked. A lot of the stuff we were talking about in the Loop marketing framework, like I implemented and I took action on.
I'd love to see it. What kind of ROAS numbers you hitting?
I'm in the winning zone, I feel like, right now. I don't want to jinx it right now. I was just pulling the numbers yesterday. One location is at 4.5 return on ad spend. Another location's at like 3.3, and then the other one, it's at 4.9. And so when I blend all the locations, I'm about like 3.3 time. So every dollar I put in, I get $3.3 back. Like, I'm not a gambler, but I would take that investment all day.
It's really awesome to be able to see like that level of results out the gate.
Cody came back with some numbers I think really speak for themselves. So far, for every dollar he's spending, he's getting solid returns across the board. Now it needs to scale.
On the creative, I know we had spent a lot of time in the like express portion of the Loop marketing. Like, what does the customer want to see? How can we like really sell to their pain points? What was the creative that you used that really worked?
The one that really worked was, it was a split screen ad. Testimonial top left, photo of a normal looking person doing strength training, not like some fitness model, and then the gym at the bottom, and just calling out the location like right there. So South Bay, Guilford, Santa Monica.
Let's talk about the landing page real quick. When you think about that express part of the Loop, it's like, all right, you're creative, you need to talk to what the customer actually wants to hear, but then they need to follow that through the funnel, right? Or else like they kind of get disjointed. What did you do? What's worked?
And I changed it basically along the lines of like your encouragement of just like simplify this stuff, speak with the images, have a short testimonial. And so taking that, I saw a lot more people moving through my pipeline on the landing page.
Cody focused on the connective tissue between his ads and his landing page. More people work through the full funnel now. They have a reason to go through his quiz and sign up for a call. He took the advice about simplifying, letting the images speak, using short testimonials, and reducing friction. It's paying off. The biggest metric, conversion rates went up, and his form completion rate went up too.
It's great to see the results, and obviously see what you can do as like a small business owner in a short period of time, right? It's only been like a handful of weeks.
Everybody feeds off that energy, you know? So like we get one of these sales, the place goes crazy, you know what I mean? Like staff's high-fiving each other. These are people that we're gonna make a meaningful difference in their life as well. So there's just like so much connected and rolling in the right direction.
It's like the magic internet momentum is such a crazy thing that we have the opportunity to leverage, and it's really exciting. Thank you for trusting the Loop, and thank you for putting this in place, like actually taking the actions, and I'm stoked to see what happens next.
Me too, man. Thank you guys so much for this.
When we met Cody, he was struggling with his messaging. He didn't have a sharp customer profile, and his ads were trying to do too much. I walked him through Loop marketing, specifically the express stage, to more clearly define his story. First, we worked through the ideal customer profile. We talked through his customer base, what kind of people connect with his gym, who he's really trying to reach. He can continue to use AI to mine reviews, customer feedback, and engagement data to get even more precise about who he's talking to. This matters because when you get specific about your audience, everything in the Loop gets better. Second, we dug into his style guide and value propositions. We talked a lot about what sets Allegiate apart from the competition: the vibe, the community, and the coaching philosophy. This is important because it helps differentiate from generic output and stuff that sounds distinctly Allegiate. And third, we brainstormed and conceptualized new ads. We focused on his specific brand messaging and honed in on concepts that work, and a direct path from ad to landing page to membership. Cody took what we built and put it into practice. He simplified his ad creative, leaned into testimonials, and tightened the bridge between his ad and his landing pages. The result: better targeting, higher engagement, more leads completing the funnel, and most importantly, a higher return on ad spend. Now that he's focused deeply on Express, Cody has a foundation to build on. And the beauty of Loop marketing is it doesn't stop there. Here's what he can do next. With Taylor, Cody can take everything he's learned about his ideal customer and make his messaging personal to each type of prospect. And with Amplify, Cody can start showing up where his potential customers actually spend time. And with Evolve, Cody can stop guessing about what's working and start knowing. He can use AI to monitor and adapt while campaigns are live. The testimonial ad that's crushing, scale it, make variations. The nostalgia content that's creating awareness but not converting yet, test a different CTA. Every Loop teaches you something that makes the next one better. Loop marketing works for any business at any stage. The Loops learns and gets sharper every time you run it. Try it out for your business and take your marketing to the next level. Grab the prompts in the description, run them for your own business, and see what Loop marketing can do for you.